The road stretched out before me, an endless ribbon of cracked asphalt disappearing into the inky blackness of the night. I had been driving for hours, the steady hum of the engine and the pale glow of the headlights the only companions in the lonely hours before dawn. I was on a remote stretch of highway, miles from the nearest town, my only goal to reach my destination by morning. The forest flanked the road on both sides, its dense trees casting eerie shadows that seemed to dance with the flickering light of my headlights. The only sounds were the occasional rustle of leaves and the hushed whispers of the wind. As the hours passed, a sense of unease settled over me. It wasn't just the isolation or the oppressive darkness, but a feeling of being watched, of unseen eyes boring into the back of my head. I shook it off as fatigue, chalking it up to my overactive imagination. The road ahead twisted and turned, and I saw a dilapidated sign on the side of the road that read, "Beware of the night." It was old and barely legible, like a relic from a forgotten era. I couldn't help but shiver at the eerie warning, but I pressed on, my fingers tightly gripping the steering wheel. The radio crackled to life, a burst of static followed by a haunting melody that sent a chill down my spine. The song was strange and dissonant, like a dirge for the lost. I fumbled to turn it off, but the dial wouldn't respond. The haunting music filled the car, drowning out my thoughts. My eyes darted to the rearview mirror, and I saw something that made my heart race. A pair of faint, ghostly headlights were trailing behind me, gaining ground with each passing second. There had been no other cars on the road for miles, and the sight of those distant lights sent a jolt of fear through me. I pressed harder on the gas pedal, the engine roaring to life, but the lights in my rearview mirror drew closer. Panic set in as I realized there was no place to turn off, no refuge from the relentless pursuit. I was alone on that desolate road, with no one to turn to for help. As the lights drew closer, I could make out the shape of the car behind me. It was a vintage black sedan, its chrome bumper gleaming in the faint light. But what sent a shiver down my spine was the complete lack of sound. The car made no noise, no engine rumble, no tires on the road, just an eerie silence. My mind raced, and I considered the unthinkable. Could I outdrive this mysterious pursuer? I pushed my car to its limits, the engine howling in protest, but the vintage sedan continued to gain ground. It was as if it defied the laws of physics, moving with an unnatural swiftness. I turned down a side road, hoping to lose my pursuer in the labyrinthine twists and turns of the forest, but the vintage sedan followed without hesitation. Panic consumed me as I realized there was no escape, no sanctuary from this relentless, silent stalker. My thoughts were a jumble of fear and desperation as I sped through the night. The vintage sedan was now inches from my bumper, and I could feel its malevolent presence closing in. I had no choice but to face the truth. I was being pursued by something otherworldly, something that defied reason and logic. Just as I was about to surrender to my fate, I spotted a bridge up ahead, its rusty metal girders looming in the distance. I didn't know what awaited me on the other side, but I had no other option. With every ounce of strength and willpower, I floored the accelerator and shot across the bridge, leaving my pursuer behind. As I crossed the bridge, the music on the radio faded away, and the vintage sedan vanished into the night. I drove on, my heart pounding, the road once again empty and silent. I had escaped, but I couldn't shake the feeling that the night itself had been watching me, that I had glimpsed something beyond the realm of the living. The road stretched out before me, and I couldn't help but wonder what other terrors the night held in its shroud of darkness, lurking just beyond the edge of my headlights.